Thank you all for being here. Obviously, we are really excited about the weekend. I think that goes maybe without being said, but really looking forward to the competition. Both programs are really historic. Both programs have a lot of history. UCLA has been a perennial championship program for decades in our sport. A lot of respect for them. I think that if you really look at the story of this team all year, we have been underrated and, kind of seen as the underdog a lot of times throughout the year in the matchups that we've had. And so, whatever story is out there about us being the underdog or, maybe the favor goes towards UCLA, we don't pay much attention to that stuff because I think we've been in that scenario all year. So we're focused on ourselves and just really good preparation all week for UCLA coming into town. So, and they're good. They're good. Every team at this point that's left, all 16, are really good. I think if you look at the statistics, we're actually eerily similar in walks to strikeouts and our fielding percentage, and, it's really close in a lot of categories. So it should be some really good softball this weekend. We're excited to be here at home with the home field advantage, playing in front of the best fans in the country. So we're excited for the coast to collide here and welcome UCLA to the East.
All right, we'll take questions.
I guess, Coach, first, is there anyone UCLA you could compare to that you've played this year in terms of their pitching staff or anything like that?
The staff and I have been digging into them since early in the week, and we have made comparisons. We've made comparisons to LSU. Feeling like just kind of holistically as a team, they have a lot of lefty hitters in the box, kind of an LSU feel, if you will. From a pitching side, they've got 3 arms that have started a lot of games for them. So thinking back, I think they're comparable to an LSU or to an A&M. That's kind of the 2 teams that we felt like they had some similarities to, at least that we played this year. Because there were teams in the league we didn't get an opportunity to play.
Hey, Ashley. You guys, it's such an advantage to host a Super. How important has it been to balance rest this week, being at home, and also staying locked into the task at hand?
Yeah, it's huge. We value recovery, and, we preach that to these guys. I think they take really good care of themselves, to be honest with you. I think they're 2 feet in on really all aspects of being professionals. So, we put a heavy emphasis on nutrition and sleep and recovery. We've tried to keep practice very efficient. On, I think, Tuesday, we were out here in the middle of the afternoon, our kind of normal block, and I think the temperature on the field was over 100. So then we made the smart decision Wednesday to move practice to in the morning. So we practiced yesterday morning. It was a lot cooler for us. And honestly, knowing that the weekend is going to be a lot cooler this weekend than, the middle of the week. So we put ourselves in the heat some and in the cooler temperatures this week. We try to keep practice from a minute standpoint a little bit shorter, maybe 2.5 hours instead of 3 full hours. And also, these guys work on their own. As much as I beg them to, just take the reps they need and be good with that. They're in the cage all the time, hitting and doing things on their own. And on top of that, they're also in the weight room. So we have not wavered in being in the weight room throughout season. That's something we highly value. So they've been in the weight room multiple times this week as a team and probably also on their own. So I trust them. I know that they're getting good sleep and eating well. And, we've had a lot of team meals together because we're out of school. So, we share a lot of meals together throughout the week. So we feel good about the recovery combined with the work that we've done at this point. Mm-hmm.
For all of you guys, and Ashley, you talked about this at the regional about embracing the moment and knowing, what's at stake, and you guys are embracing that. But how have you guys handled everything leading up to this week and knowing just how important this weekend is for you guys as a program?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot personally throughout the week, leading up to the weekend. I know that we're all thinking about it ourselves, but you're only going to make it harder on yourself by making it bigger than it is. And so thinking about everything that's at stake is not going to help us in any way. Treating the game just as it's just between us and the ball. It's the same game every time you play it. And we've been talking about how there's kind of no more logos at this point. It's just playing the game as good as you can, just playing clean softball.
Yeah, obviously it's a big moment for all of us. I got a text message last night from Shirley Burton, who played on the 83 team. She was going through telling me all of the moments that happened in that 17-inning game versus UCLA. And just at the end of the message, she was just, thanking us for bringing softball back to South Carolina at a high standard, and, that all the alumni are proud of us no matter what the outcome is. So I think that was really freeing of a message to hear from her and from all the alumni. So kind of playing for ourselves, but also we have a crew behind us that are rallying for us and for something bigger.
Yeah, the 1983 team lost a 17-inning game to UCLA that was 4 hours long, 2-1. So we're trying to avenge them this weekend. Yeah, we've all gotten text messages about it since they knew we were playing UCLA.
Abby, actually, kind of a specific one. Lots been said about Ari's background in hockey. What have y'all seen from her in that regard? Any challenges, any hockey talk or actions in practice, anything like that?
Abby and I are from the South, so we didn't know what ice hockey was before we met Ari. I know very little about hockey. I've seen it on TV every now and then. I don't even know if I can tell you I've ever been to an actual hockey match. But, for me, it's you have to be somewhat tough to play that sport. I feel like, it's very physical. And I think, early in the year in the Georgia series when Ari and Brooke collided and Ari broke her nose, and then you see her on the field the rest of the weekend, and then, she only missed that following weekend against Texas Tech because she was forced to, and just coming back and how good she's been since then, I think, we like well-rounded athletes, people that are tough that played other sports. We think that translates really well to this game, and so she probably could teach me a lot about ice hockey. We should have that conversation.
Yeah, I also didn't know anything about hockey until I went to Boston College. Spent my first 4 years there, so became a big hockey fan. Shout out to BC hockey teams. But we've had a lot of conversations about hockey since then. So I've played with Ari for 2 years now, so we have talked about hockey. But she definitely knows a lot more about it than I do. But, I love to watch it, and I know that you got to be tough as nails to play it. So, yeah.
Ashley, this UCLA team has some of the best, individual offensive producers in the country. I guess from a defensive and pitching standpoint, what do you want to see from your squad this weekend to kind of keep as many runs off the board as you can?
Yeah, I think a couple thoughts that we've kind of dug into all week. We need to play a clean defense, and that's always the goal, and we've been really good at that all year. So we can't give them extra outs. We need to be able to, get out of innings even with runners in scoring position, and can't give them extra things. Our park is way different than theirs. And obviously South Carolina, just the geographical aspect of the specs of the field and where we are on sea level versus where they're at in LA. It's a very different environment. And, so I think for us, I think it's going to be, and I try not to predict too much so here I am. But, I think for us, it's going to be playing the doubles the right way, when we want to be in no doubles, when we're going to be in position to throw them out at the plate, that kind of thing I think is going to be key for us. So I think as a staff, we just need to make really good decisions on where the defenders need to be given the situation, and the game will tell us that, and Jody and Katie shift the infield and the outfield as the game goes on because I call the game. So, I think we'll do a good job of that. And, I think we have an advantage because they haven't seen Sam. They haven't seen Jory. This is a fresh matchup, and we've had no history with them. Neither one of those arms have played them, so I think that works in our favor as well. Sam is a righty pitcher, but the way her ball moves and her ball flight, she's like our lefty. We like match her up as a left-handed thrower, even though she's right-handed. So I think with all the lefties in the order, we want to make sure we have Sam in the right scenarios in the game when the game is leveraged at the highest points for this matchup specifically, which might feel a little different than it did last weekend in the regional.
This one's for Ari or Abby. With UCLA having a couple of these power hitters, as hitters yourself, does that get you like a little extra juice, knowing you kind of are going to go back and forth with them, or what does it do for you as your mental preparation as a hitter and a power hitter?
I think it really doesn't have an effect on us. We're just going to play our game. Like Abby said, there's no logos at this point. We're not worried about what the other team's stats are. We're just going to go out there and play our game and just compete until the umpire calls the game. So we're not really worried about that. Obviously, we're prepared for it, but it's not in the back of our minds at all.
I was gonna say the same thing. So.
The Super Regional this weekend is sold out. And how much did a packed ballpark help you guys this past weekend, and how important is it going to be this weekend against UCLA?
I think it'll be a key factor. I do. You know, I don't know much about, you know, UCLA came out of the pack, so I don't know, you know, what the pack atmospheres were like for them, and I don't know what the Big Ten atmospheres were like for them this year. But I can tell you it's not like an SEC atmosphere. And so just putting them in this environment with, I mean, we're going to have standing room only. We sold out, I think, in 8 minutes, which is unbelievable, and we're so thankful for everyone coming this weekend to the event. So I think it works in our favor. You know, there was so much energy in the stadium all 3 days last weekend for us that really just propels us. I mean, it makes moments feel different for us in the game, and it really affects the feel of the entire atmosphere for us in the dugout, I know for sure. So we're really excited about that, and I do think it will play a factor for the weekend.
Players, you want to talk about that as well, please?
Yeah, this past weekend was even better than all the weekends leading up to it when it came to the fans' atmosphere. And, I mean, they were super into it. Like, anytime we stepped on the field, they were clapping for us, and we just feel that energy, and we play with it. It helps us play, and I think them knowing what's all on the line, too, is going to just amp them up even more. So I think that the energy around Beckham this weekend is going to be something that you can just, like, feel in your bones. So I'm really excited to be a part of it, and I know we all are. So.
Yeah, I would say it was eye-opening in that Sunday game for the regional championship, and the second we took one step on the field, the whole crowd just roared and in support of us, and I think we really used that as momentum, some wind in our sails going out there and trying to get a clean 1-2-3 in the first inning. So, you know, we're so thankful for our fans and everything that they've done for us this year, and just hoping that they bring that same energy this weekend.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.